In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build this really smooth and delicious looking pancake bar graph. It's another example of how themed slides can really up your presentation game. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's open a blank new slide, go over to the Design tab and select Format Background. Then under Solid Fill, let's change our fill color to hex code A96F39. And for those who watched the last video, you'll know we're calling this Pancake Tan. Then let's go back to our Home tab. Let's go to the Shapes tool and let's insert a rectangle. Make a pretty large rectangle across your slide. Don't worry, we're going to resize this later. And then let's right click anywhere on the rectangle and choose Edit Points. Now simply hover over each one of these sides and you'll see the cursor changes to this black crosshair. Once that appears, right click again and change to Curved Segment. Now start with the left side, do the bottom as well, and then also do the right, but leave the top flat. Once that's done, we're simply going to click on each one of these points and adjust these drag handles. Now we're simply going to click on each one of these points and adjust these drag handles. Now under normal circumstances, these drag handles are going to be connected and you'll need to hold Alt or Option to adjust just one at a time. But since we've already curved these three sides, PowerPoint has done it for us, and so you can just drag each one of these drag handles without having to hold Alt or Option. So let's drag these and shorten the ones on the right and have them point down more. We want these edges to just be lightly curved, and then we want to bring the bottom so that points out more, and bring this handle on the right in as well so we get a nice even curve on this side, and then do the same for the other side as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want a nice round curve to the bottom here, and we want to make sure that these aren't sharp corners on the two bottom edges and that the top stayed flat. Now select the whole shape and let's change the fill color to hex code FDCFA2. And then let's open the line panel and select no line. Next, we'll click off, go back up to the Home tab, go to the Shapes tool, and insert an oval. And let's draw a pretty big oval right across the top here. That looks pretty good. Maybe make this a little bit narrower, but not too much. That's about the right placement. And you'll want to align these two shapes so that the points of the first shape we created align with the edges of the oval about here. Again, doesn't have to be perfect right now. Again, right click on the oval and go to Edit Points. And then you're going to hover over until you see the cursor appear again, right click and select Add Point. And it'll do some weird stuff right now. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that in a second. Right click again, Add Point. And remember, when you're right clicking, you're not clicking when you see this cursor, you're clicking when you see this crosshair. Right click again, Add Point, and do that 2 more times on this side. Once you've added those 5 points, go back to the first one and let's start adjusting these drag handles to make this look a little bit better. And now as you can see, these drag handles are connected. So if we just want to move one of the drag handles, we need to hold Alt or Option, and then we can freely move this bottom one. So do that. And then just keep adjusting these drag handles. What we want to do is create a pancake looking edge along here. So we want this edge to not be a perfect circle or perfect oval shape. Hey, just like us, pancakes aren't perfect. That's what makes them beautiful. Once you're happy with the placement of all those points and lines, you should have something that looks about like this. And guys, it's not going to be perfectly pancakey right now, but again, don't worry about that. We're going to make it look better in just a second. To start making it look right, let's go back to the Format Shape panel and choose No Line. And then under the Fill, we'll choose a Gradient Fill. This first color, we're going to put at 0%. And we're going to change it to hex code CFB748. The middle one we're going to place at 50%. And we're going to change this to hex code D48C4C. And then the last one we'll put all the way at 100%, and we'll change this to hex code EA9A50. And then if your angle isn't set here, go ahead and set the angle to 45 degrees. This looks pretty good, but I think we're a little bit too thick on this pancake. So I'm going to reselect this bottom object. I'm going to reduce the thickness some, and then I'm going to go back to my right click menu, choose Edit Points, wait until I see the crosshairs, right click again, choose Add Point right in the center here. And I'm just going to bring this center down and kind of widen that out a little bit. And this way we get that nice round look at the bottom, but we can actually drag this handle up as we want to make this pancake a bit thinner. We can bring the corners in a little bit if we want to. Just make this look exactly how you want it. And the key here is really just to keep adjusting those points until you're satisfied with the first shape. Once you're satisfied with how your pancake looks, just select both of these items together. And on a Mac, hit Option-Command-G, and on a PC, Control-G to group. Then grab the top right handle and click and drag while holding Shift to reduce the size right down to about here, somewhere around 2.5 centimeters in width. For this one, I'm gonna need someone with a PC to let me know if this works, but on a Mac, you can just do Command D to duplicate, and if you drag this pancake into place on top of the old one, and you hit Command D again, you can create a stack here. And what I like to do is hit Command D a bunch of times. and then just move some of these pancakes once you've created the stack. So this stack looks a little too straight, so I'm just gonna select some of these in here, and I'm gonna move a few of them around from side to side. You don't have to do a ton of them, but just doing a few pancakes and altering the distance that you move them makes this look really good. And that looks really good. So once you have a stack of pancakes that you're happy with, let's go ahead and group all of these pancakes. Option Command G or Control G. Next, we'll create the plate for it. So go up to Shapes and insert another oval. Draw your oval somewhere at the bottom here and just kind of try and match the general shape of the pancakes. So we'll immediately send this to the back so that we can adjust this a little better. And go ahead and zoom in. So we want the curve of the bottom of this plate to match up with the curve of the bottom of the pancake. So if we drag this into place about here, we can see that the curve is about the same, and I'm pretty happy with that. So let's make this a little bit bigger, and I'm holding the Shift and Control keys to make sure that this expands outward in all directions in the same ratio. Go ahead and hit No Line, and then under Fill Color, let's just choose white for this plate. Duplicate this shape. Again, that's Command D. On a PC, I believe it's Control D, but I'm gonna need someone to verify. And then choose this second gray color on the left under the theme colors. Then place the shape directly over the original oval. Hold Shift and Control and reduce the size some until it goes into the center of the plate. And if you didn't get it perfectly centered, that's okay. You can recenter it now. And then go ahead and send this to the back and then bring it forward once. And I think we need to make this just a tad smaller, so I'm holding Control again, and I'm just reducing the size a little bit, and then I'll nudge this up maybe one click. Now select the gray oval you just created and the white one and group those as well. Next, we're gonna zoom back out a little bit and scroll up to the top of the pancake stack. You can zoom all the way in here if you'd like. I think that makes it easier. Then go over to Shapes, and let's choose Curves. Using this Curves tool, we're just going to click everywhere we want to add a curved point, and we're going to draw a general syrup shape. Make sure you include some drips. These look really good. Don't make them too long because our pancake stacks are going to vary in height, and so you don't want the drip to end up off of the stack and have to redraw the entire syrup on each stack of pancakes that you make. And you can draw this however you like. Just feel free to get creative with the syrup. Once you're done, make sure you click back on the starting point to close the syrup. Now this is far from perfect, so let's start by going to No Line, then let's go up to Color and choose hex code 7B410F. Nice syrup color there, then we're gonna right click and choose Edit Points. Then you're just gonna drag each of these points into place where you want it until the syrup looks really good. And once you're done playing with the points, you should have something that looks about like this, or however you want it to look. There's no wrong answer here. Finally, let's add some butter on top here. So let's go back up to Shapes. Let's choose the parallelogram and let's draw a little parallelogram right in here. Just make it big enough to work with. Let's get rid of the line and let's change the fill color to hex code FFE599. I wanted to kind of flip my parallelogram, so I just reduced the width and then rotated it about 90 degrees and then dragged this butter into place in the center of the syrup and maybe expanded it a little bit to make it just a bit bigger and then condensed a bit to match the angles. And remember, you can grab the yellow drag handle and use that to adjust the shape, so I did that a few times and I just played with this until I was happy with it. That looks perfect. Now select the butter and the syrup and group those as well. Finally, zoom back out, select the entire stack, go ahead and group the stack for now, and then copy it over 3 times so you have a total of 4 of these stacks. Then select all 4, go up to Shape Format, go to Align, and distribute these horizontally. Then grab the last stack, duplicate it one more time, and place it right next to itself. You want this pretty close to show that these two are related. And then finally, select all 5 of these, group them one more time, go back to the Shape Format tab, go to Align, and align these center. And if you feel so inclined, if you didn't feel like you got these just right, feel free to ungroup the main group using Shift Option Command G or just Control G again, move the stacks on the left and right over a little bit, regroup them and recenter them. Now I've got these right where I want them, so I'm going to select all of them, move them down a little bit on the slide so that they're closer to the bottom, and then I'm going to set the heights of the pancake stacks exactly where I want. Starting with the left one, we have this placed exactly where we want it, and you can adjust the heights of each one of these bars wherever you like, but I'm going to show you how to put these in the same position that I've done. So now that we've aligned all of these, we can go ahead and ungroup each one of these sections. So click on all of them, and then on a Mac, use Shift Option Command G, or on a PC, use Control G to ungroup. And now we have separate groups of the pancake stack itself, the butter and syrup up top, and the plate at the bottom. We'll need these separate groups for animating, but these will also help us get rid of some of the shapes in these objects when we're trying to adjust the heights of the pancake stacks. So leave the first one in place, and then on the second pancake stack, let's grab the stack of pancakes and let's ungroup this for the moment. And as you can see, we've got a lot of pancakes in here, so this can get a little bit confusing. So to reduce the height, we're gonna select the bottom section here, but don't select the last pancake and don't select the plate. So we're gonna select right about here, and we may not get that second to last pancake in, but that's fine too. We're just gonna hit delete, and now you can see we've got a stack of pancakes that's floating above one pancake on the plate. And I wanna delete one more of these here, but what that means we can do is we can select this stack of pancakes, and then we can drag it all the way back down onto the base pancake. Perfect, now we've got a shorter stack of pancakes. Finally, you're just going to select the entire stack, but again, don't get the plate in there. Remember, the plate is grouped, so as long as you don't hover over the entire white plate, you're not going to select all of that. Then you're gonna wanna zoom in, and because these two objects are on top, they'll be easier to select as the group, so hold shift and click on the group for the syrup. You'll have just the pancakes selected, put those back in place, and then regroup the pancakes. Now we have a group of just the plate, the pancakes, and the syrup and butter. Now go ahead and repeat that process for this stack and reduce the height by about 3 or 4 pancakes. So since we're actually adding some pancakes on this last stack, we're gonna do this a little bit differently. So let's start by grabbing the pancakes and ungrouping them like the others. Once you've done that, we're just gonna hold shift and deselect the bottom set of pancakes. And then we're gonna hold shift again, and we're going to select the grouped syrup and butter. And remember, since this syrup and butter is on top, even though it's hard to see through all of these lines, when you hold shift and click, you're actually going to select that group rather than deselecting a pancake. So now you can grab all of these and drag this up a little higher than you actually want it. Then select a bunch of pancakes from this stack, duplicate and drag them into place on top of the first pancake, then grab all the stuff on the top of your stack, arrange this, bring it to the front, and drag the rest of this stack back into place on the one that you created below. And that way, we're just settling this top stack onto the rest of the pancakes, and we get a nice seamless transition here. Then we're just gonna select all the pancakes again, hold shift, deselect the syrup, and group the pancake stack again. And in this last stack, it looks like there's something weird going on, so let's select the last stack, let's ungroup it, and then let's try and get rid of whatever is going on in the center here. I see what's going on. Okay, we're shortening this stack anyway, so no problem. Let's delete these 2 excess pancakes, and then let's grab whatever other pancakes we don't want in this stack, so I think that's about right. Now let's grab all these top pancakes and the syrup, and drag these back down on top of our stack, but it looks like we're still a little bit behind with this one pancake, so let's arrange, bring to front, that should take care of it, and drop this right into place. Perfect, last stack looks good, so let's select the whole stack of pancakes and the syrup, deselect the syrup and butter, regroup the pancakes, double check that's what we did, perfect. And now we've got all our stacks in place. Next, let's get some text on this slide, so let's double click to create a text box, and let's type how many to start, select the text box itself, and I've done freestyle script on this one, but you're free to use any font you choose. I'm gonna change the font size to 44, and I'm gonna change the font color to hex code FADEBA. Then I'll duplicate this text box and drag the new one a little below it, and in the new one, I'm going to write pancakes. I'm gonna change the font type to Gibson semi-bold. I'm gonna change the font size to 80, and I'm gonna change the color to hex code FFC000. Then I'll drag both text boxes up into the upper left here, and we'll finish arranging these in just a minute, but I'm gonna duplicate this text box one more time. I'm gonna change the font size to 28. I'm gonna change the text inside it to "Can we eat?" with a question mark. I'm gonna select the whole text box, and I'm gonna change back to the same font color we used for how many, which was hex code FADEBA. Then I'm just going to drag all of these text boxes into position where they align properly. So I'm going to nestle this text on top of pancakes right about here. And I'm actually gonna rotate this so that the bottom of the Y approximately aligns with the bottom of the H. And that way we get it to fit a little bit better in this gap between the P and the K in pancakes, so that it just looks a little more aesthetically appealing. Then just grab all these text boxes and put them about where they look good to you. And once you're satisfied, you're done with that. Next, let's grab the "Can we eat?" text, and let's duplicate this text box and drag it down under the first pancake stack and align it approximately directly under the butter and center it. Let's type the name Lauren in this first text box. Let's change to Gibson regular. And then let's copy this text box 3 more times until it's under all of the stacks of pancakes. Then you can change the names to Lauren, Emily, Samir, and Aaron, or the names of whoever in your life loves pancakes the most. Make sure the first and last text boxes are aligned perfectly under the butter on the first and last stacks of pancakes. And when I say last stack of pancakes, I'm referring to this one on the left because that's what we've aligned these on, even though both of these count as the final stack of pancakes. Aaron just eats that many. Then select all 4 of these text boxes, go up to shape format, go to align, and distribute horizontally. With that done, you're simply going to copy all 4 of these text boxes and put them until they're about on top of the pancake stacks. Don't worry, we'll adjust the heights in just a second. We're going to go back to the Home tab, and for all of these, we're going to change to Gibson semi-bold, and then we're going to change back to our yellow font, which again is hex code FFC000. Then we're going to individually select each one of these text boxes, drag it into place until it's right on top of the pancake stack, and put the following numbers, or whatever numbers you want, into these blocks. And once you get these numbers in place, you may find that the text at the top looks a little cramped. I think it does, so let's select it, deselect this number, and let's just move it a little bit over and up so it gets a little bit more space from this number 88 over here. So next we'll open the Animations tab, and we'll open the Animations pane and get animating. So we'll start with the first words, so let's click on How Many, let's choose Fly In, let's choose From Top, let's select Bounce End, and then let's click on Pancakes, add a fly in to this one, change to From Left, also choose Bounce End, and then under Timing, change to With Previous and add a delay of 0.15 seconds. Then finally, click on Can We Eat, also add a fly in, change to From Right, add a Bounce End, start With Previous, and add a delay of 0.25 seconds. Next, click on the left plate, go up to Fly In, leave the property at From Bottom, choose Bounce End, and change to With Previous. Then click on the plate in the field, double click the animation painter, and paint the animation onto all of the other plates. Then deselect the animation painter, select the second plate, find its animation in the menu, and add a delay of 0.15 seconds. And then for the rest of these plates, add an additional delay of 0.15 seconds from left to right. So this third plate ends up getting a delay of 0.3 seconds, this fourth plate gets 0.45, and the last one gets 0.6. Next, select the name Lauren, choose the wipe animation, change the property to From Left, and change the start to With Previous. Then click on the name Lauren in the field, double click the animation painter, and paint to the other names. Then deselect the animation painter, select the next name in the list, add a delay of 0.15 seconds, and continue to add an additional delay of 0.15 seconds for each of these names across here. So again, if you've done this correctly, then the last name should have a delay of 0.45 seconds, and all of the entrances should be staggered for the plates, the title, and the names. Now let's add our triggered animations. So let's click on the left pancake stack. Let's choose Fly In. Let's change to From Top. Let's add a Bounce End, and we'll keep this one at On Click. Then we'll select the left syrup, and remember this is currently grouped with the butter, so let's ungroup that now using Shift Option Command G or just Control G on a PC. Then select the syrup again, just the syrup, and go to Wipe. Change the property to From Top, change the start timing to With Previous, and add a delay of 0.5 seconds. Then click on the butter, and it's really small, so if you miss it the first time, that's fine, just click again. Add a wipe to the butter as well. Change the property to From Left, change the start timing to With Previous, change the duration to 0.25 seconds. Again, it's a really small object, and 0.5 just feels really long. And then change the delay to 0.75 seconds. And then finally, select the number 88, choose Fly In, change the property to From Top, select Bounce End, change the start timing to With Previous, and change the delay to 1 second. Now if you go into your animation pane, you should see a set of 4 animations here. We have the pancake group, we have the syrup, we have the butter, and we have the number. Now what we can do is select each one of these objects that we've animated, select the animation painter, paint it onto the next one, and make our adjustments. So let's paint the first one onto the second pancake stack, and all of the settings should end up identical, so we don't have to make any changes. And we're gonna do this in proper sequence for each stack, one at a time, so that each of the With Previous animations that we've created doesn't need to be moved, otherwise we'll lose our delay timing. And now we'll wanna animation paint the syrup animation, but remember, we still have the syrup and butter grouped on this one. So go ahead and ungroup that, and I just go ahead and do that for the rest of these towers. So once you've ungrouped all the syrup and butter, then you can click back on the syrup on the first stack, go to Animation Painter, paint it onto the second one, and then you can go to the butter, Animation Paint, and click on the second one. And as you can see, I accidentally clicked on the syrup because this butter is so small, so it can help to zoom way in. Click on the first butter, Animation Paint, and click on the second one. And now we've got the butter correctly. And finally, click back on the number, Animation Paint, click on the second number. Now you can go over into the pane and you see we have this first group of animations and we have this second group of animations. And if you play these through, you can see that each one animates in sequence as it's supposed to with its own trigger and the same timings. Go ahead and repeat this for the third and fourth stacks. Okay, once you've got these first 4 stacks done, then we're going to copy the animation from the second to last pancake stack to this last pancake stack here. But we're actually going to go over into this side panel and we're going to change the start timing to With Previous, We're going to add a delay of 0.15 seconds because these two are coming in together. So we have the with previous, but we want them to come in just a little bit staggered so it looks a little better and not so robotic. So let's add the delay of 0.15 seconds. Then we'll copy over the syrup animation from this stack to the final stack. And then we'll find that animation in the menu. Instead of a 0.5 second delay, we want a 0.65 second delay because we want to add 0.15 delay to this piece as well. Then we'll zoom back in for our butter because I can't seem to click that when it's zoomed out. We'll click on the butter, we'll go to the animation painter, and we'll animation paint that over as well. And you guessed it, we're gonna find the butter in the panel and we're gonna add 0.15 to the delay of 0.75. So that's gonna be 0.9 second delay on the butter. And we don't have a final number on the last stack, so we are done at this point. Let's play our slide and see how we did. Nice, there's our intro animation. So we get this smooth text coming in, we get the plates coming in, and we get the names wiping in. I'll let you see that one more time. Boom, just nice and clean. Love it. All right, and then each time we click, we're gonna get each stack of pancakes in place. So we drop it in, syrup pours on, butter wipes on, and the number comes in. I love that. Again, we're keeping with the theme of the pancakes, and so we want to copy the physics of real life while keeping it very cartoony and fun. So how many pancakes can we eat? Lauren's got 88, Emily 53, Samir 72, and Aaron's got a whopping 137 pancakes. Guys, I don't know if these are realistic numbers at all. Please don't go home and try and eat 137 pancakes, or 53 pancakes for that matter, and tell people that the weird bald guy on YouTube told you to do it. I take no responsibility for your pancake consumption. That's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please click that like button, hit subscribe, click that bell to get notified for more videos like this one, and I'll keep them coming for you. In the meantime, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.